Imagine turning your financial journey into something you can actually see, touch, and measure every day. Not hidden in bank statements or forgotten budgets, but laid out in front of you like a map of your progress. In this chapter, you'll discover the wall chart, a simple yet powerful tool that transforms money management into a visual story of freedom. It's not about numbers alone. It's about watching your choices take shape, seeing your efforts stack up, and keeping score in a way that sparks motivation and clarity. Why keeping score matters. For much of our lives, we've been trained to think about money in abstract ways. We see numbers on a bank statement, a paycheck stub, or a bill, and we respond to them. But rarely do we experience them as part of a larger, coherent picture. We work, we earn, we spend, and the cycle repeats. Because of this abstraction, many people feel detached from their financial reality. They might sense that they are doing okay or falling behind, but without a concrete way to measure progress, it's difficult to know exactly where they stand. That lack of clarity leads to anxiety, frustration, and sometimes resignation. The first step toward financial independence is seeing where you are, and the second step is seeing where you're going. Think about other areas of life where keeping score has a natural place. Athletes train not only by practicing movements, but also by tracking results. The number of reps, the seconds shaved off a sprint, the distance gained. Students know their progress by grades or completed credits. Even games, whether it's basketball or chess, are driven by the excitement of seeing the score change as the action unfolds. Without a score, motivation drifts. With it, every choice has weight. The same is true with money. Without a way to keep score, our financial lives remain vague, like playing a game where no one bothers to write points on the board. The wall chart, introduced in this chapter, is a deceptively simple tool that brings the score of your financial life into plain sight. It's nothing more than a graph you hang on your wall, yet its impact is profound. Every month, you record your income and expenses. Every month, you see whether the gap between them, the space where savings live, is growing or shrinking. Over time, the lines of your chart tell a story of discipline, of setbacks, of breakthroughs, of slow and steady progress. Unlike numbers buried in a spreadsheet, the wall chart invites you to step into that story visually and emotionally. Why does this matter so much? Because when money becomes visible, it becomes manageable. What you can see, you can influence. If you can watch your expenses trend downward after cutting back on unnecessary purchases, you feel immediate reinforcement. If your income line rises because you pursued side work or negotiated a raise, the chart rewards you with tangible proof of your efforts. In both cases, motivation multiplies because progress is no longer hidden. The wall chart takes financial independence out of the realm of ideas and plants it in the real world, where you can look at it every day. The psychology behind this is powerful. Human beings respond to visual cues far more strongly than to abstract numbers. A growing savings line on the chart isn't just an accounting fact, it's a visual affirmation of your direction in life. It says, "I'm moving closer to freedom." This is why people who use the wall chart often report a deeper sense of control and purpose. They stop feeling like victims of random bills or unpredictable expenses. Instead, they begin to see money as a flow of energy they can guide, sometimes slowly, sometimes with great leaps, but always in a direction that reflects their choices. In a way, keeping score with the wall chart reconnects us to an ancient human truth. What gets measured gets valued. Farmers once tracked the growth of crops, sailors mapped the stars to measure progress across the seas, and builders marked stones to measure structures inch by inch. Each of these measurements turned chaos into order, turning uncertainty into confidence. In the same way, by drawing a line on a chart each month, you're reclaiming your financial life from the fog of abstraction. There's also an accountability factor. A chart on your wall is not easily ignored. Every day you pass by it, every week you glance at it, every month you add to it. It becomes a silent companion, reminding you of your intentions and holding you responsible for your actions. Unlike a forgotten spreadsheet buried in your computer, the wall chart demands attention. That steady visibility transforms money management from a chore into an ongoing dialogue with yourself. In short, keeping score matters because it shifts your relationship with money from passive reaction to active engagement. It turns the invisible into the visible, the uncertain into the measurable, and the overwhelming into the manageable. As you'll see in the sections ahead, the wall chart is not just a bookkeeping tool, it's a motivational compass, a daily reminder that every dollar you earn and every dollar you save brings you closer to financial freedom. Building your own wall chart. The wall chart is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools for financial independence. At its heart, it is nothing more than a sheet of paper with lines on it. No advanced technology, no expensive apps, no complicated formulas, just a chart you hang where you can see it every day. What makes it powerful is not the paper itself, but the discipline and insight that come from recording your financial reality in such a visible, consistent way. Start with a large piece of graph paper, poster board, or a simple printout with evenly spaced lines. Along the horizontal axis, mark time in months, January, February, March, and so forth. Along the vertical axis, mark amounts of money. Choose increments that suit your situation. $500 steps might work if you earn around $3,000 per month, but smaller or larger scales may be more appropriate depending on your income. The key is creating a chart where your changes are clear and easy to see. Next, select 3 colors of pens or markers. One represents income, another expenses, and the third savings. At the end of each month, total your income and your expenses, then plot 2 points, one for each. Connect them to the previous month's points with lines. The gap between those lines is your savings. If you like, shade the area between them to make that score even more visible. Over time, those shaded spaces will tell the story of your progress toward freedom. This may sound almost too simple. You might ask, why bother when I already use a spreadsheet? The answer is visibility. Spreadsheets hide in folders, easily forgotten. A chart on your wall becomes a daily presence. Each time you glance at it, you're reminded of your progress or your setbacks. It keeps your goals alive without nagging. That quiet reminder is what makes the wall chart work so effectively. When creating your chart, don't worry about perfection. The lines don't need to be perfectly straight, your handwriting doesn't have to be neat, and your markers don't have to match. What matters is consistency. The ritual of sitting down once a month to gather your numbers and add them to the chart is where the real value lies. That small act becomes a rhythm of reflection, turning money management from stress into awareness. You can also decide how detailed you want your chart to be. Some people stick with a simple version. 1 line for total income, 1 for expenses, and 1 for cumulative savings. Others prefer more detail, plotting separate lines for housing, food, transportation, or discretionary spending. The more detail you include, the more analysis you can do later, but it also requires more effort. There's no single right way, only the method that feels natural and sustainable for you. For most, starting simple is best, then adding detail once the habit sticks. Over time, your wall chart begins to tell a story. You'll see the sudden spike in expenses during a holiday season, or the dip in income when you switched jobs. You'll notice the gradual upward slope of your savings when you cut debt or curbed unnecessary spending. Without the chart, these stories remain buried in bank statements. With the chart, they become obvious, undeniable, and motivating. The wall chart also has a way of gamifying money. Each month, you score points by widening the gap between income and expenses. Instead of feeling like you're depriving yourself, you start to see every choice as part of a game. Cooking at home adds points, biking instead of driving adds more, negotiating a raise shoots the income line higher. Watching the chart reflect these decisions turns saving into something energizing. Personalization helps too. Some people decorate their chart with quotes or images that represent their goals, perhaps a picture of a house, a map of the world, or a simple word like freedom. Others keep it stark and minimal, letting the lines tell the story on their own. Both approaches work, and the right choice is whichever keeps you engaged. The more personal your chart feels, the more likely you are to use it faithfully. Ultimately, building your own wall chart is about reclaiming visibility and control. Instead of letting money remain abstract or overwhelming, you bring it into the open. Every line you draw, every month you record, is an act of ownership. Over time, those lines transform from random numbers into a mirror of your discipline and growth. The wall chart becomes more than just paper on a wall. It becomes a companion, a reminder, and a symbol of your steady march toward financial independence. Seeing progress in real time. One of the most difficult aspects of managing money is the invisibility of progress. You may make small sacrifices, cutting back on meals out, skipping a coffee, putting a little extra into savings, but these changes often feel too minor to matter. Your bank balance might barely change, and the distant goal of financial freedom can seem impossibly far away. Without a visible way to measure results, motivation can vanish, and many people abandon their financial plans. The wall chart addresses this problem by making progress tangible, immediate, and motivating. When you first begin plotting your income and expenses, the chart may appear discouraging. The lines might be close together, leaving little space for savings. In some cases, the expense line may even exceed income, showing a clear need for adjustment. While this initial snapshot can be unsettling, it is essential. It represents your starting point, the baseline from which improvement is measured. Just like the before photo in a fitness journey, it may sting, but it provides clarity that enables growth. The power of the wall chart lies in accumulation. A single month of small savings may look insignificant, but over time, those increments build into a story of measurable progress. Perhaps you cut a $50 monthly subscription or cook more meals at home. Maybe you negotiated a raise or added a side income. Each month's small gains shift the lines on the chart, gradually widening the gap between income and expenses. Months pass, and what initially seemed minor begins to form a visible, motivating pattern. Without the chart, these incremental victories remain hidden. With it, they are undeniable. The visual feedback from the chart taps into basic human psychology. People are wired to respond to immediate rewards, which is why spending money often feels more satisfying than saving it. The wall chart gives an immediate sense of accomplishment. When the expense line drops or savings grow, you feel a subtle surge of satisfaction. This feedback reinforces positive financial behavior, making saving feel rewarding rather than a chore. Over time, the process becomes almost game-like, turning discipline into an enjoyable pursuit. The chart also provides perspective during setbacks. Life is unpredictable. Unexpected medical bills, car repairs, or appliance replacements will occur. Without a long-term view, these events can feel catastrophic. On the wall chart, however, they appear as temporary dips within a larger trend. Seeing the overall trajectory remain positive helps reduce stress, maintain commitment, and prevent discouragement. One bad month does not erase years of consistent effort, and the chart makes that clear. Celebrating milestones becomes easier with a visual record. Crossing a savings threshold, reducing monthly expenses, or hitting a long-term target can be seen instantly. Many people mark these moments on the chart or take a small personal reward, linking achievement to emotion. The chart turns abstract goals into concrete experiences, making success visible and memorable. Momentum is another benefit. After several months, the chart develops a trajectory. Lines rising steadily or gaps widening create a sense of progress that is hard to ignore. This visible momentum encourages better choices as you instinctively want to maintain the trend. Each month becomes part of a larger story, where small actions compound into meaningful results. The wall chart can also strengthen shared accountability. Partners or families can view the chart together, making discussions about spending and saving concrete rather than abstract. This shifts the conversation from blame to collaboration. What can we do this month to move the lines in the right direction? It turns financial management into a collective effort rather than a source of conflict. Ultimately, the wall chart becomes more than a record of money. It is a diary of decisions, priorities, and resilience. You can look back and see the months when you made sacrifices, pursued opportunities, or adjusted spending. It reflects not only your financial habits, but also your personal growth, offering a sense of confidence and clarity that no spreadsheet or app alone can provide. By making progress visible, the wall chart transforms uncertainty into empowerment. Each point plotted, each line drawn, is proof of your effort and a reminder that your financial future is in your hands. When progress is visible, the distant goal of financial independence becomes real, attainable, and energizing. Adjusting your strategy. The wall chart does more than track your financial numbers. It provides insight into patterns, strengths, and weaknesses in your spending and saving habits. Simply seeing the lines move month after month tells a story, but the real power comes from interpreting that story and using it to make adjustments. The chart reveals trends you might have missed, highlighting opportunities to redirect resources, reduce waste, and accelerate progress toward independence. Once you have several months of data, patterns begin to emerge. Perhaps your expenses spike every December, or you notice that discretionary spending grows faster during the summer months. Maybe your income is irregular, dipping in slow months and surging during others. These patterns aren't just statistics, they are actionable information. They allow you to anticipate challenges, plan accordingly, and make informed choices rather than reacting impulsively to financial surprises. Adjusting your strategy doesn't mean dramatic changes or punishing austerity. Small, consistent shifts often produce the biggest results. If the chart shows that dining out is steadily eating into your savings, you might plan 2 home-cooked meals per week as a start. If transportation costs are climbing, perhaps carpooling, biking, or public transit can reduce expenses gradually. The key is using the wall chart as a diagnostic tool, pinpointing areas that need attention and experimenting with manageable adjustments that align with your life and values. The chart also encourages proactive income strategies. If your savings line is narrower than you'd like, the wall chart can motivate you to explore additional streams of income: freelancing, part-time work, selling unused items, or negotiating a raise. By visually tracking the impact of these efforts, you see the immediate effect of your actions. Even small increases in income create visible improvements in the chart, reinforcing the connection between effort and reward. Another important adjustment is seasonal planning. Many households experience predictable fluctuations: utility bills rising in winter, vacations in summer, holidays, or special events that require extra spending. Plotting these fluctuations on your chart allows you to anticipate them, set aside funds in advance, and avoid stress or debt. The wall chart transforms budgeting from a reactive exercise into a proactive strategy, giving you control over what might otherwise feel like random financial pressures. Behavioral adjustments are equally important. The wall chart makes habits visible. If you consistently overspend in a certain category, it becomes obvious on the chart. Seeing repeated dips or narrowing gaps between income and expenses provides a clear signal that behavior needs attention. Recognizing patterns objectively, rather than blaming yourself emotionally, makes it easier to implement sustainable changes. The visual feedback removes judgment and replaces it with clarity, creating a constructive environment for improvement. Importantly, adjustments are iterative. One month, cutting entertainment expenses may produce a noticeable shift. Another month, focusing on grocery spending or subscription services might yield further gains. The chart allows you to test changes, see results, and refine strategies continuously. Each adjustment is a data point that contributes to a deeper understanding of your financial habits and how to optimize them. The wall chart also encourages long-term thinking. Seeing your savings line gradually widen reinforces the importance of consistency and patience. Short-term fluctuations matter less than sustained improvement over time. This perspective helps you maintain focus on the bigger picture, even when small setbacks occur. Every adjustment becomes a step in a larger journey toward financial independence. Finally, the act of adjusting your strategy strengthens accountability and confidence. The chart doesn't just record outcomes, it illuminates your choices. Each decision, big or small, produces visible results, reinforcing the sense that you are in control of your financial destiny. Over time, you become adept at identifying trends, testing strategies, and making incremental improvements, all guided by the clear visual feedback of your wall chart. In essence, the wall chart transforms data into insight, insight into action, and action into progress. It's not merely a record of the past, it's a tool for shaping the future, helping you make smarter, more intentional choices, and guiding you steadily toward financial independence. Motivation and accountability. The wall chart is more than a financial tracker. It is a motivator, a visual reminder of the progress you've made and the goals you are working toward. One of the biggest challenges in managing money is maintaining discipline over time. Without a clear sense of progress, it is easy to slip into old habits or postpone important financial decisions. The wall chart turns abstract goals into visible results, giving every small action weight and meaning. Each month, when you add a new point or line, you see your effort reflected immediately, reinforcing positive behaviors. Motivation arises naturally from seeing progress in real time. As your savings line grows and your expenses line shrinks, you experience the satisfaction of accomplishment. This creates a feedback loop. The more you see your progress, the more motivated you are to continue, and the more motivated you are, the more intentional your financial decisions become. Unlike spreadsheets hidden on a computer, the chart provides continuous visual reinforcement, encouraging consistency and persistence. Accountability is another major benefit. The wall chart is not passive, it demands attention. When placed in a visible location, it becomes part of your daily environment, reminding you of your commitments without nagging. Its presence ensures that financial management is not an abstract task you forget about, but an ongoing dialogue with yourself. Each time you glance at the chart, you are prompted to reflect. Did I stay on track this month? Are my choices aligning with my goals? This daily interaction fosters a sense of ownership and responsibility. Sharing the chart with a partner or family can enhance accountability even further. Household finances often become a source of tension, with vague disagreements about spending and saving. The wall chart provides a neutral, objective reference point. By reviewing it together, couples or family members can discuss financial decisions factually rather than emotionally, turning conflict into collaboration. It creates a shared understanding and a sense of teamwork, where everyone can see the impact of their choices and celebrate progress collectively. The wall chart also taps into the psychology of gamification. Just like a scoreboard in a game, it tracks points, progress, and victories. Each month that your savings line widens or your expense line narrows feels like scoring a goal. Every dollar saved is a win. This gamified approach transforms financial discipline from a chore into an engaging activity. The satisfaction of watching your chart improve makes it easier to make disciplined choices, turning effort into visible reward. Milestones become more meaningful when they are visible. Crossing a savings threshold, paying off a debt, or reducing monthly expenses all take on extra significance when you can see them on the chart. Some people even mark these moments with small rewards, a dinner, a trip, or a symbolic token, linking achievement to tangible celebration. This practice reinforces motivation, as progress is not only measured but also recognized and honored. Long-term commitment is reinforced through consistent tracking. The wall chart emphasizes that meaningful change rarely comes from a single effort or dramatic action. Instead, it emerges from repeated, small, intentional decisions. By watching the cumulative effect of months and years, you develop patience and persistence. The chart makes the journey itself rewarding, showing that incremental steps compound into significant outcomes over time. Another subtle benefit is emotional clarity. Money often carries stress, guilt, or anxiety. The wall chart provides objectivity. It doesn't judge, criticize, or reward emotionally, it simply reflects reality. That clarity allows you to make rational decisions based on facts rather than feelings, reducing stress and creating confidence. You can see what is working, what needs improvement, and how your choices affect your future. Ultimately, the wall chart transforms motivation into action and accountability into habit. It bridges the gap between intention and outcome, making financial progress visible, tangible, and measurable. Each line, each point, each shaded space reinforces the connection between effort and reward. By keeping score openly, you strengthen your financial discipline, maintain focus, and build momentum toward the independence and freedom that the chart represents. Sustaining the habit. Building a wall chart is only the first step. Its real value comes from consistency, returning to it month after month without fail. Like any habit, the chart's effectiveness grows over time. The more consistently you track, the more accurate your picture of your finances becomes, and the more actionable insights you gain. In the beginning, it may feel tedious or even unnecessary. The lines may move slowly, and the impact might seem small. But persistence transforms these small, repetitive actions into a powerful, long-term tool for control and independence. Consistency begins with setting a regular schedule. Choose a specific day each month to update your chart, preferably soon after paychecks are deposited and bills are paid. Treat it like an appointment with yourself, a non-negotiable part of your routine. Over time, this commitment becomes automatic. Skipping a month is like skipping a workout. It weakens the habit and diminishes the feedback loop. The power of the wall chart lies in its cumulative effect, and consistency ensures that effect is fully realized. Sustaining the habit also involves keeping the chart accessible and visible. Placing it on a wall where you will see it daily reinforces engagement. Unlike digital spreadsheets, which can be hidden or ignored, a physical chart becomes a constant, tangible reminder of your progress. Every glance at the chart reinforces your awareness of financial priorities and encourages reflection. Over time, it becomes a natural part of your environment, subtly guiding decisions without conscious effort. To maintain motivation, periodically review the story the chart tells. Look for trends, peaks, and dips. Reflect on what caused improvements or setbacks. Celebrate wins and identify patterns that need adjustment. This reflection reinforces the connection between daily choices and long-term outcomes. It also keeps the process engaging. When the wall chart evolves from a simple tracking tool into a visual diary of your financial journey, updating it becomes rewarding in itself, not just a mechanical task. Sustaining the habit also means adapting when necessary. Life changes, and so do your financial circumstances. Income may increase or decrease, expenses may shift, and new priorities may emerge. The wall chart is flexible. It can grow and adjust along with your life. If your scale becomes outdated or your chart becomes cluttered, refresh it. Redraw axes, add categories, or change increments to keep the visualization meaningful. A well-maintained chart reflects current reality, which is essential for making informed decisions. Another key to sustaining the habit is accountability. Share your progress with someone you trust, a partner, friend, or mentor. Explaining your choices and showing the chart to another person reinforces commitment. Social accountability motivates consistency in ways internal discipline alone may not. Even if you do not share every detail, simply knowing that someone else will occasionally see your chart can strengthen your resolve to maintain accuracy and follow through. Psychologically, the wall chart also strengthens resilience. Money management can be discouraging when progress feels slow. The visual record shows that improvement is gradual and cumulative. Temporary setbacks, a month of unexpected expenses, an income dip, or overspending appear as minor fluctuations within a broader upward trend. This perspective reduces stress, increases patience, and sustains motivation, making it easier to continue the habit over months and years. Finally, the habit becomes self-reinforcing. As the chart grows, the lines, patterns, and shaded savings areas provide ongoing feedback that naturally encourages further attention and effort. The act of tracking becomes intrinsically motivating, and the results, visible progress, increased savings, reduced stress, further strengthen the habit. In this way, the wall chart evolves from a simple tool into a cornerstone of financial discipline, personal growth, and long-term independence. By committing to sustain the wall chart habit, you ensure that financial awareness, insight, and accountability remain constant. The chart becomes not just a monthly task, but a lifelong companion on the journey to financial freedom, helping you measure, adjust, and celebrate progress with clarity and confidence. That wraps up Keeping Score, the wall chart. By tracking income, expenses, and savings, you've seen how progress becomes visible, motivation grows, and decisions gain clarity. With this foundation, you're ready for the crossover, shifting from managing money to truly living. Next, we'll explore how financial awareness can create freedom, turning everyday choices into a life worth experiencing.